Aztecross recently dropped this video right here, which is my message to all Destiny 2 creators, and I'm a Destiny 2 creator, so let's go ahead and watch and react to this.
I've got to say, we're in the roughest state I've ever seen Destiny. And everyone memed on us last year for talking about Destiny 2 dying. I was already noticing some of the cracks around this time last year. And, you know, I love this community. I really do. I think it's one of the best communities in all of gaming. But sometimes it's so sharp on either end of the spectrums. You've got a part of this community that vehemently attacks developers for literally nothing, you know? Most random stuff, and then you've got the other side that's folks that defend this game like it's their freaking firstborn child. But I mean, like, look, you know, numbers are numbers. You gotta, and I mean, that's what's telling the story right now. And if I was to go to Google Trends, if I was to type in Destiny 2, and I do over the past 5 years, it's not as low. Hold on. Last year it got really low. Really low. Good God. Look at this decline. August. Look at that. Good Lord. What happened to us last November?
I think that was during the delay, right?
Is that this is just Google Trends, right? So this is just showing like Destiny 2 as a search term. This is going to sound terrible, but all the layoffs actually caused a lot of traffic online. And if we're basing this on the GDC situation, right, where it was like all publicity is good publicity, which in this case, no. Season the plunder, dude. That was Season the Plunder. Yep. We made a video last year saying, or we made a couple videos saying that we thought Destiny 2 was dying, or, you know, it has a downward trend. And, you know, Google Trends was one of those. And like, before people jump up and say cross, but Google Trends, who cares, man? Who cares what the largest search engine on earth says? Right? I take you to Steam charts. It's a random Thursday, guys. You know what I mean? We got 26,520 players on Destiny 2. And look, here's the thing. If I was to say, what was the lowest point in Destiny history?
It would definitely be D2 year one. I don't think it's going back that far, though.
But November's not over. I know we're sitting at 46,677, but November's not over. You know, here's the thing. New season's launching at the end of this month. You'll be doing good, man. You'll be doing good. That number could go back up to 320,000. But see, look. I bring these statistics to the Destiny player base, and I get told, no, Cross, everything's great. Everything's fine. Farming Simulator 22 is beating our ass. Euro Truck Simulator 2 is beating our ass. I would take that personally.
So I do want to make a comment on this part right here where we talk about the population of the game on the Steam charts comparative to other games. And it's such a strange phenomenon as it is that Destiny 2 does not get nearly as many players as Farming Simulator. As weird as that seems, that's not actually Destiny's success model. Their entire business model is not based on high numbers of concurrent players, but instead playtime session. So I'd be willing to bet you that the players that play Farming Simulator don't play it for as many hours a week every week as players that play Destiny 2. And that's actually where Destiny 2 thrives, and also part of the reason why Bungie has been scrambling so much and panicking, because player retention is currently down in Destiny 2, which is something they direly need to fix, because that's literally the only thing that makes this franchise special, the only thing that keeps this franchise going. Let's continue watching now.
All right, I'm just saying, right? Look, the reality is that, you know, people are playing less Destiny right now. And I know this because friends of mine that have made content over the years, they are making less Destiny 2 content. It's sad. I very much enjoyed pulling up a Sir D video and watching Destiny 2 content on his channel, and it'd be full of all kinds of fun stuff. And like, before people jump up and say, well, Cross, that's because everything's turned into reaction content, and you're fucking part of that too. I know. I am part of that. But if the game was truly thriving, it wouldn't be us reacting to stuff like Destiny 2's dying, or, you know, reading articles about Destiny 2's drop off and layoffs and whatever else. We would just be playing the game, having a good time. Well, we're actually going to watch a video real quick. This is by a friend of ours, TDT. You guys may most likely already subscribe to him. He's got fantastic content, but I want us to watch this video. It's titled The Future of Destiny 2, Bungie and Us.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become a villain. That's never been more true than it is right now. In case you're not aware, and I apologize, I'm off script here. I was not planning on this. Nobody was planning on news of this caliber to drop today. So I apologize if I'm a little disorganized, but the quick version is Bungie just laid off an unbelievable amount of employees, about 8% of their workforce is from the numbers that I see, which is about 100 people, and they've been underperforming under their projections by about 45%, which is a huge underprojection or underperformance. And obviously there's a lot of bad blood going around right now, understandable bad blood going around right now, as not only are players scared and worried about what's going to be in the future of Destiny, content creators, obviously the people who are laid off, which is just terrible now that you're coming into the holiday season. I cannot imagine what you guys are going through. My prayers are out for every single person there. That is unbelievable. It's scary. Like, what do you do? Everyone is hurting right now, and I want to talk about just briefly the future of Destiny from my perspective as somebody who is desperately trying to remain optimistic, who is desperately trying to hold on to what glint of hope remains, and talk about Bungie and talk about content creation, because Bungie has had to push back the final shape another 4 months, which means we're going to have a 6-month season coming off of a season right now where we've been in one of the worst droughts we've been in a while. And it's so sad that having one of the worst droughts we've ever had in a while is like old hat at this point. The bar was on the ground and Bungie brought a shovel through monetization, through a not so fantastic Lightfall expansion past the honeymoon phase. There's just been so many things, one after another, that has like scatter plotted a downward trajectory for the health of this game, for the health of Bungie, for the enjoyment of players, for the longevity of this game. I don't think Destiny's gonna die, but I do think it might be dying. Like, it might be a slow bleed, like a cancer that isn't gonna happen now, maybe not even in a year.
It's how it always goes, guys. How it always goes. And listen, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I've been through this before. I have been part of a thriving community. I have seen leadership at studios shoot both feet and their dicks off and then subsequently killed their player base. I'm talking about JX and RuneScape. I've experienced this. It always is a slow, painful death. And apathy is really at the end of that trail. Look, here's the thing. I'm sure TDT's is the same way. For me, I want to call things how I'm seeing it in real time and then give a prediction. You know what I mean? Give a genuine prediction on the future of something, right? Because I remember sitting in TeamSpeak with clanmates of mine. It was Kingdom of Saradomin back inside of RuneScape. We had such a great clan, wonderful people. And I remember sitting in there and talking to them. And they were like, one guy in particular was like, dude, his name was General Tick. General Tick was like, dude, this evolution in combat, man. I don't like it. I think it's going to be bad. And remember we had another guy, his name was Mac. He was like, I think this could kill the game. And we were like, nah, man, come on. Y'all being dramatic. They didn't exactly go make YouTube videos on this, but they made a very good case on why evolution of combat was going to kill RuneScape. And guess what? It fucking did. PTSD here, right? Some PTSD here. But I definitely see some of the same mistakes being made.
For content creators, briefly, as selfish as it may sound, we are scared. At least all of us who are sort of middle of the pack, we're not the most well-known. We're not, you know, your big boys. We're scared because we have a symbiotic relationship with Destiny, with the players. It is a mutually beneficial relationship.
This is actually a point that I've made and talked about previously, and I want to touch on it again here, which is content creators in Destiny 2 using Destiny 2 for their livelihood, which is perfectly fine and understandable. A lot of people do this. There are a lot of full-time content creators within the Destiny 2 category, but you need to keep in mind, if you're going to do this, if you're going to go down this route, that you're taking on immense risk and that you are in fact being an entrepreneur. You need to understand entrepreneur principles, the risks involved, how to diversify to minimize those risks. These things are all extremely important. And unfortunately, I do see a lot of Destiny 2 content creators that stay very one-dimensional. I myself was guilty of this for many, many years. I stayed in my lane. I stayed streaming Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 on one platform, Twitch alone, and never doing anything else. And it's really only been for me in like the last 3 years that I decided to diversify things quite a bit, which is why you'll notice that if you follow me, you'll see me pop up in the trending category category on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter or X now, Instagram, and elsewhere. Does this make me immune to Destiny 2 dying? No, absolutely not. But at least what it does do is it diversifies my income so that if Destiny 2 does die, I have different revenue streams coming in from different areas and can hopefully work to transition that to something else. I recommend all other content creators to do the same.
Actively blasting their foot off with a high caliber rifle, it sort of makes you a little nervous, just a little bit. We're having to now more than ever face down not a departure from Destiny because we want to, but a departure because we more or less have to. If we can't sustain, paying the bills, putting the lights on, feeding ourselves, through content creation by covering Destiny, we're gonna have to go elsewhere, whether that means leaving content creation as a whole or finding a different game, something, right? I don't know what the future holds. I don't want to leave anytime soon. I'm scared. And I'm sure many other people are feeling that too. It's just, I didn't expect it to go like this.
For content create, I don't know how it is for other content creators. Man, it's such a weird animal. Content creation was never meant to be, at least from my outlook on it, I never looked at it as a long-term thing. At this point, I guess I have the luxury of speaking from a perspective of someone who's been doing it, long enough where I'm pretty happy, I guess. But for me, it's always been like, oh my God, we got another year. Let's fucking go. And, worst case scenario, it's not worst case scenario, one scenario, we find another game to play. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of creators that could find that other game that really sustains them. I would have never done YouTube or streaming if it wasn't for Destiny. A lot of things made me want to make content for Destiny. I remember it was 2014. I was on my way to work and I'm listening to videos from other content creators. I'd watch Mr. Fruit. I fucking love Fruits. But there was also, in the sea of great content creators, there were some shit ones. All right. And I remember specifically things like strategies for raids and stuff like this. And I would be listening to this and I'd be like, it's a terrible strategy. It's awful. And then suddenly I was like, I got to make a video. I don't even know how to make a video. I don't even know how to record shit. I've been listening to these terrible ass fucking strats. I recorded on my PlayStation 4. I edited things out in Share Factory of all places. Anyways, as far as like content creation goes, I think it's like anything else. Like nothing is ever sure. If you want sure in life, I hate to say it, I wish things could be more sure, but if you want sure in life, maybe go work for the government, but there's downsides to that too, right? But anything you ever do, especially get into in it for yourself, and whether it is content creation, which is, I would argue and say hyper competitive. Everybody around here has got a short span of attention, you know what I mean? And entertainment is weird. One thing that's entertaining today is completely different tomorrow, right? So my thing is I found myself years ago, I was working as an accountant. I was a terrible accountant. I was working as an accountant. I was getting my CPA license and I was sitting there. I was number crunching on a random afternoon. And I remember thinking to myself, you know what? I know this is a steady job. I will always have a job. Even with me being a shitty accountant, I will always have a job. But God damn it, life can't be like this. I was like, I would rather burn bright, but for very briefly. And look, if you're an accountant, by the way, don't take any hate for this. I'm just saying for me, it just wasn't stroking that creative side, right?
I can relate to this a ton, as obviously before I did content creation in Destiny 1 and now Destiny 2, I was delivering pizzas. And nothing against anyone out there that does do pizza delivery, but at least where I worked at with pizza delivery, there was some employees there that had been doing it for over 30 years, and the management, being as greedy as they were, only allowed you to make 90 cents above minimum wage. So they basically capped you out at never being able to make a good living with this, which is why what I did during those 5 years I did pizza delivery was listen to podcasts. Actually, I wanted to expand my mind and my knowledge of the world and everything around me, learn as much as I possibly could. I was watching podcasts on all kinds of weird things, and I did so because I wanted something more than that pizza delivery job. And I've been super thankful and super blessed to be able to do content creation for 9 years now full time, and that is genuinely thanks to this community here and to Destiny 1 and Destiny 2. If things do die down too much though for Destiny 2, please, all I ask is that when I come to your door you give me a big tip. Promise I'll bring you that pizza nice and warm. Now let's continue watching.
I didn't even know I had that side, right? But the other side of things is whether you're a content creator, I feel like we do have more flexibility. And some of you guys that are covering Destiny, You may pivot into another game and blow the fuck up. I mean,
That's
blow
true.
the fuck up. It may be the biggest blessing of your life. I've seen content creators come and go in the Destiny community. They've picked up other games and they have just launched themselves into the stratosphere.
Absolutely. There's several really good examples of this, but one of the best examples is one of my close friends, Tfue. He started playing Destiny 1, breaking world records, getting world's first belts, transitioned over to Destiny 2 and absolutely hated it, so he left the game, started playing Battle Royales, and then launched into Fortnite, and now everyone knows him as a Fortnite player, literally one of the most successful Fortnite players ever. I think that a lot of content creators, if they really applied themselves to other games, could find mass success in them.
Examples. MTash, you know what I mean? That guy
MTash
got
definitely.
on Genshin and blew up, killed it.
Truly.
Mr. Fruit, the same thing. I mean, so many things
Definitely.
Fruit was doing. So I mean, he was already blowing up, but then he blew up on so many other games past Destiny. Gladys went full blown
Huge, yeah,
variety.
huge
Why
variety.
is this copium? What do you mean? Why is that copium? You act like you can't change lanes. You could change lanes. At one time, Tfue and Dr. Lupo used to play nothing but Destiny. Imagine if they only stayed with Destiny and didn't jump to another game. Imagine they didn't see. And look, I don't know if that other game was a decision they made based on, you know, whether they projected growth or not. Maybe it was just they were playing another game and it was probably a really good fucking game.
True.
And they jumped on that game and it worked out. Sometimes
Definitely
the
did.
stars align and dude, you just right place, right time. There was a lot of content creators like that. And what I'm saying is that yes, there is some uncertainty as a content creator. I would say we have the luxury of not having something so final as what the developers are facing, because they just get handed a notice like, hey, get the fuck out. You know what I mean? This is your last week. Get your shit, get the fuck out. But as a content creator, you do have that option to rotate. And look, even for the developers, they can rotate too. But there is a large amount. I mean, I read something this morning, 1,000 more employees at another studio got laid off. I mean, there is obviously a pullback happening in the industry as a whole. But just to circle back to content creators, yes, it does suck that content creation won't be forever in the Destiny world. To be quite honest, we're way past the point that I ever thought we would get. You know, I never anticipated us being in damn near 2024 still making Destiny content. It's crazy to me. And now the thing that frustrates me when we make content about Destiny and we're especially content that is advising Bungie to make changes is I see the same mistakes going back in rotation with Bungie and Destiny. No matter who you are, whether you're an enemy or a friend or whatever, you know, if there's a pile of shit that you're going to continuously keep stepping in, I just feel obligated to tell you, hey man, there's a pile of shit right there. Don't step in it again. I know you just stepped in it 12 times, but this one time, can you not step in it? For my content creators though, you'll be surprised. I know whatever uncertainties are coming, you'll be surprised that this may end up being the biggest blessing ever for you. There may be that other game around the corner. Who knows? Maybe Anthem comes back and then we can all become Anthem creators. And then we can all get banned from Anthem together when we cheat. Look. I need people to understand games can die. That's the thing. There's a mindset of like, Destiny can't die. Yes, it fucking can. They can fucking die. And you've seen it happen with other games, especially live service games, where they just, that's it. You know, is it going to happen right now? No, it will teeter out. You know what I mean? It will teeter out. It will teeter out to a point where it's almost painful. You know, you're just like, God damn it, pull the plug. Pull the plug. Just end this shit. But to sit there and say it's impossible for Destiny to die, I mean, in what world? In what world? When you're insolvent, you're insolvent. You run out of money, you run the fuck out of money. There are certain companies, I will admit, that have the infinite money glitch. Okay, Apple's one of them. Microsoft's another. Amazon's another. Okay, but like outside of those companies, not many other companies have the infinite money glitch. And even those companies, things could happen. There are some things that can happen. I've been on job sites before because I did construction for a bit, and I remember I was on this one job site. We were building this plant. We built, so the plant was divided into 2 phases. It was A line and B line, and it was a plant that was symmetrical, so it was identical on either side. And one side of the plant we did completely beautiful, done in no time, got completely paid. Second side of the plant though, it was really odd because suddenly the company we were working for said, hey listen, we can't pay you right now, but we're going to pay you exactly what we paid you for A line. For B line though, we got you, we're going to pay you. And they kept kind of kicking the can down the road, right? And suddenly I would say probably 50% through Beeline, and we're talking millions and millions of dollars, 50% through this job. Every contractor on there, all the subs, the GC, the construction management firm, all of them were like, look, you fuckers are either going to pay or we're not going to do any more work. Like, you know, and this was private work. And then it wasn't a week later when an article came out that that company was confirmed insolvent. For whatever reason, I mean, I know a few reasons why they ended up getting themselves in such a bind. But you know, you wonder in those situations, okay, insolvent, what does that mean? Do you still get paid? No. Nobody got paid. All that fucking work everyone did for months on that job, nobody got paid. And you know, yeah, there's some bullshit they got set up where there's going to be some sort of like payout, but it's much, much less. And everybody just gets a tiny little slice of this little bitty fucking pie. They would have insurance for that kind of thing, Cross. Brother, it's called bonding. I know exactly what you're talking about, Icarus. And whenever you bid a job, you have to have bonding before you can bid. And bonding goes up to a certain level. So depending on the size of the job. So yes, when it comes to private work, the bonding is imperative for public work. But for private work, if I go out and I build a plan for Georgia Pacific, right, I don't need bonding. You understand? Therefore, in this situation, no money was paid out. A bunch of private companies don't have bonding on a job. Yep. All right. So the point I'm trying to get back is no company is really too big to there are a few companies that it would take a long time for them to fail, but no company, especially in the gaming world, is too big to fail. You know, I think when it comes to Destiny 2, outside, I guess, episodes, which are supposed to change things up, they haven't really improvised over the past 3 years. I mean, what's the craziest thing that's happened? We got Trials of Cyrus back. We got some D1 raids back.
The point I would argue with the improvision of Destiny 2, and it's actually a funny point to make within this very video, is that how Cross was talking earlier about RuneScape and how they essentially improvised and changed something in the game and it had extremely adverse effects. We've seen this in the Halo franchise as well, something that I'm sure Bungie is very well aware of, considering it was one of their biggest mistakes. I'm actually not a Halo player. I didn't play during this period of time, but everyone says that Halo was doing really well, and then they started to improvise and add new things like armor lock. I don't even know what the heck armor lock is, but Halo players have been raging about this so much that even I understand the frustration. And even though I never actually played Halo, I'm still pissed about armor lock. And again, I don't even know what that is. So part of the issue is that with too much improvision to Destiny 2 equals risk that the community may not like those changes. It's simply much better to add more to the game to increase quality of life changes. Like we have an LFG system coming up. We have that loadout system, which has obviously caused a lot of issues in and of itself. We've got new darkness subclass Strand, the aspects that come along with that, new aspects, new weapons, new weapon perks, new exotics. I do really think that that's Destiny's key to success, and things like Monte Carlo's Catalyst allowing it to be a glaive simultaneously is also pretty cool. In terms of creativity, obviously in practicality, the Monte Carlo Catalyst is not like a game-changing thing, but in terms of creativity, it's actually pretty wild. Now let's watch the last part here.
Got some new rates. Right? Subclass 3.0, that's a big one. I would argue and say subclass 3.0, that's a Destiny 3 change. The point is that there's like this thought process that companies, in this case Bungie, is too big to fail, and that's not the case, man. That's not the case. Now, I will say this, even though I do love 3.0 subclasses, don't kid yourself, it f***s some subclasses up, okay? In terms of power fantasy, you know, if you had to ask me today, Cross, which would you rather? Would you rather Arc 3.0 or old school Arc Strider Tyrant Surge meta? Some of you know what I'm talking about. I think I would go with old War Mindset Tyrant Surge build. I mean, I'm just saying, like, in terms of power fantasy, dude, that was...
I don't know, Assassin's Cow?
3.0 exists. 3.0 exists because it helps Bungie balance things more. I mentioned this in one of your videos with the whole mod rework kill build crafting. Well, it definitely made you less potent. Find a new game. God damn it, Greedy. What the hell? You just come in here and start slinging violence? Look. People are doing that. I want you to know, everyone, that's what I'm saying. The sentiment, go find a new game. Trust me, with these numbers, people are in fact finding a new game. You don't even have to say it anymore. There is an exodus happening. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I just need like 5 other people to play Destiny, right? It'll be me and 5 other dudes still running in a raid every now and then. I feel like you need to have a balance to everything, right? We get hype, but you know, we're realistic. You know, if Destiny's hurting, you know, you gotta wonder why. You know, you gotta sit down and wonder why.
So this was a great video from Cross. I do agree with a lot of the points that he made here. Do I think that Destiny will die? No, I don't actually think the game's going to die. I think it's going to have a ton of longevity. Will it be as lucrative and successful as it has been in the past? That's really what we should talk about in this, because the game could slowly bleed out, of course. But I do think that it will always have a substantial amount of success. I mean, it was recently sold just a few years ago for billions of dollars. A good portion of that has already been burned through, though. And while that doesn't guarantee that Destiny 2 can't die, it just should be said that $1 billion $1 companies don't just fall off the face of the earth that often. Hopefully Bungie can navigate through this tough time here and take us to the final shape and have it be a huge success. But let me know your thoughts down below, and click on the screen here to watch another video from this channel. Smash the like button, subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Later. And if you're feeling thirsty out there, make sure to use code LUCKY10p to save some money on G Fuel. Also, make sure you're following me on Twitch and Kick. I go live all the time playing Destiny 2. Lastly, make sure you're following me on X, Instagram, and TikTok, where I deliver Destiny 2 news to you daily. I appreciate all the followers out there.